The Bear, the fifth and final season, is out in full on Disney+. 8 new episodes of varying length, between 25 minutes and a full hour. This is the highly successful drama about mental health and restaurant, a Chicago restaurant, starring Jeremy Allen White, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, Ayo Edebiri, Lionel Boyce, Lisa Colón-Zayas, and Will Poulter, among many others. There was actually an additional episode in between seasons, which some people might have missed, a flashback episode called Gary, which is about Richie and Mikey going on a road trip. It's technically marked as episode 0 of this season and provides some additional context for the relationship, but isn't really part of the main narrative, so if you skipped it, you might not even notice. This season finds the restaurant in dire straits. They're out of money, they're out of food, they're out of ideas. But they do have one service ahead which might maybe keep them afloat for a while, a service which will take place on an extremely rainy day in Chicago where everything goes wrong, pipes are bursting, ceilings are falling over, and problems mount. So the entire season, with the exception of the final episode, which is kind of an epilogue release, takes place over the course of that single day, which I actually quite enjoyed. I think it keeps the pressure and tension on a level that we haven't really seen since season 1 and 2. And I do want to address the general sentiment and reception of season 3 in particular as a weak one. I always disagreed with that. I think it is weaker than the rest, but I think it's still good. And I would argue, having now seen the rest, that it was essential in setting up in bridging the kind of character arcs from the beginnings to the end and allowing them to continue and end the way they did. But anyway, how is season 5? I'd say it's very good, up there with 1 and 2. Very tense and nail-biting when it needs to be, very funny and emotional at other times, and all of the characters get fitting resolution, nothing feels like an afterthought, and it's all rather satisfying. I appreciate how, especially appreciate how the writers did not chicken out on Carmy's decision to leave and have him magically turn things around. I think the only satisfying ending for him is actually breaking the patterns that make him unhappy. I think the best part, though, was seeing the contrast in how the restaurant operates in high-pressure situations now versus how it used to in the past. The people there have learned their lessons. They changed, they grew, they shifted their perspectives, or in some cases roles, and it all works out so much better. They still deal with absurd amount of issues, but they deal with them with more kindness and patience. Music by Hans Zimmer, still excellent. Cinematography, still excellent. One thing I criticize is that the plot device of having it all be one day leads to some unbelievable contrivances. Like, somehow all these people still find time to have these one-on-one heart-to-hearts, or in one case even have sex. The guests are all late, but then when they do start arriving, all of them come at once, which looks like they were delivered by a bus. One lamb dish gets messed up, and they immediately shift and pivot to make ribs, but not just for one person, but for the entire restaurant for whatever reason. Also, having Uncle Jimmy and Computer and Cheese also run around town frantically as if they needed to do the things they needed to do in that one evening also felt a bit like a stretch. Having said that, though, I understand why this was done for the sake of drama, and I think it achieves the desired result, which is to make compelling, watchable show. I love the season, and I think it sticks the landing, cementing The Bear as an overall really solid piece of television.